correct?
Correct.
Do you think we can start?
Yes, I think we can start. If everybody is there, we can
Okay.
start.
Let me let me see if Germany and France delegations are ready. The delegates are ready. Okay, one, second one. Let me see in Germany. Okay, the theme of this debate will be announced by Giovanni Viana.
We are still missing Germany
Yes,
representant.
I know we're missing Germany.
Okay, is she come?
Yes.
Okay, right.
Okay. Before we start, I will announce the theme, which is unleashing access to opportunity.
Right. The first team to start is Germany. Germany, you have the floor.
Good afternoon to our opponents and to the panel experts who are here with us today to talk about unleashing access to opportunities. In 2011, the government announced its strategy to have access to opportunities based on 5 pillars: access to education for all, skills development, activation, policies and securing employment, reconciliation of work and family life, and integration and imagination of skilled labor. Employment in Germany kept growing steadily after the global economic crisis of 2008, reaching 45.3 million workers in 2019, according to national statistics. More than half of the total employment growth since the economic recovery was due to the expansion of part-time employment, especially for women, with plus 2.8 million female part-time employees subject to social security contributions between 2010 and 2019. In addition, there are signs that the share of atypical employment has been declining over the past few years due to better employment opportunities. As a result of the increased demand for labor, the unemployment rate as well as the inactivity rate decreased. In January 2020, the unemployment rate amounted to 5%, according to administrative data, and to 3.2% according to labor force survey data. Reducing long-term unemployment through promoting social labor markets for the very long-term unemployed has been the focus of recent active labor market programs. Active labor market policies have recently successfully targeted refugees and asylum seekers. The Federal Inclusion Act of 2016 promoted measures for including people with disabilities in the labor market. To cope with the labor market impact of the coronavirus pandemic, the government decided to soften the eligibility requirements for short-time work measures. Affordable housing has become a major problem not only for low-income but also middle-income households, like in economically dynamic urban areas. Recent measures include an increase in housing benefits as well as recent increased regulations. The dual vocational education and training system has been widely acknowledged to be one of the main success factors lowering the unemployment of young people and skill gaps. A major concern has been the decreasing number of young people enrolling in dual vocational education and training. An increasing number of them prefer to pursue university educations since the introduction of the bachelor level through the Bologna progress. To face this challenge, workplace-related learning in a university education has been strengthened. New formats of study courses have been introduced in line with the dual structure in addition to traditional study formats as well as internship scheme. Several measures and laws have been introduced over the past few years to promote continuing education and training. The Qualification Opportunity Act, in force since January 2019, includes a binding right to continuing training guidance from the Federal Employment Agency and extends the training to employees affected by structural change. Therefore, we conclude that despite of any crisis that the country is facing, Germany's number one priority is their people. As stated by the former US President John F. Kennedy, all of us do not have equal talent, but all of us should have an equal opportunity to develop our talent. Regardless of gender, racial or ethnic origin, religion or belief, disability, age or sexual orientation, everyone has the right to equal treatment and opportunities regarding employment, social protection, education, and access to goods and services available to the public. Thank you all for your time.
Okay, Germany, thank you very much. Now we'll be listening to France. Are you ready, France?
Yes. Hello there, everyone. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
I don't.
Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for listening to me again. And I also hope that our opponents are doing well. And okay, so I'm going to be starting with unleashing access to opportunities. France has been actively working on fostering professional integration and self fulfillment to all individuals, with a specific concern for women and youth. In order to achieve positive short-term results, and meanwhile to ensure French society an equal and young future, the government has addressed two main actions for unleashing access to opportunities. So far, France has maintained two priorities, which are women and youth. While international attention to gender issues has grown over the past few years, recent events and new global challenges have made it necessary to actively pursue efforts towards the realization of gender equality and women's rights across the world. France's youth policy falls within the Cadre Européen de coopération en matière de jeunesse, a European Framework for Cooperation of Youth Affairs, for the period 2010 up to 2018, which sets two general major goals: creating more opportunities to and ensuring equality in education, as well as on the job market, and promoting active citizenship, social integration, and solidarity for all young people. It is also one of France's responses in the context of the European Youth Guarantee, which was adopted by the countries of the European Union in April 2013. The main focuses of France's youth policies are fostering young people's autonomy and financial and residential independence, enhancing their capacity to act individually and collectively in society, reducing social and territorial inequalities, fostering mobility among all young people, involving the nation's youth in the drafting of public policies. The government's policy aims to exploit all available paths to autonomy, including education, training, social, professional integration, accommodation, healthcare, leisure activities, sport, mobility, civic commitment, and social security. Among other things, the strategy draws on a team based on report of youth every year. In 2012, it focused on inequalities between young people, and in 2014 on the territorial question report, youth career paths and territories, parcours des jeunes et territoriaux. Such work provides those involved in drafting youth policies with objective quantitative and qualitative data highlighting the problems young people encounter, for example, unemployment rate among 15 to 26-year olds, which stands at 9% for those with higher education, qualifications, but at 46% for those with no qualification. And the number of unqualified school dropouts was estimated at 110,000 in 2015, but the number is going down. Um, the French government established the Overseas Youth Plan, which was Plan Jeunesse Outre-mer, coordinated by the Ministry of Overseas France, adapted to these outermost regions, local realities, and issues. It had five priority objectives: ensuring conditions for educational success, securing transitions between training and employment, encouraging autonomy and initiative taking, fostering professional integration and self fulfillment, and combating delinquency and encouraging living together better initiatives. The National Agency for Youth France does not have a specific youth agency. In fact, public policies bearing on youth are implemented and coordinated by various departments for youth, non-formal education, and voluntary organization departments. However, it exists a department with national competence whose missions are set by Decree number 2015 and 1771 of the 24th of December of 2015. The Institute um, the Institute has five missions: a mission responsible for studies, observation, and, statistics, a mission responsible for observation and discernment, a mission responsible for promotion and dissemination, and a mission responsible for documentation and management of resource center, and also a mission responsible for running the Youth Experiment Fund. In fact, the use of digital technology, which is regarded as a sector for the future, has provided one of the more recent fields of action in favor of youth. And on the 17th of September in 2016, the Grande École de Numérique, Great Digital School, project was inaugurated by the President of the Republic. And also, the program has been overseen by the Ministry of National Education. The ministry is in charge of labor and the Secretariat of State for Digital Technology. As regards policies and actions concerning women priorities, France considers women's economic and social empowerment and gender equality essential to sustainable development. Women and girls are especially impacted by poverty and conflicts. Still today, they face specific difficulties related to their social status as well as their gender discrimination and all. And as a conclusion, with one of the main achievements demonstrating how effectively France leaves no stone unturned when it comes to promoting innovation. And so, to ensure that everyone gets the opportunity to improve the world we live in, the La French Tech initiative has just come up with a specific program to advance diversity. That's all. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you, girls. Thank you, delegates. You've done a good job. Now let's get to the voting system. All right. I will again ask anybody that is not involved in the voting to switch off their video. So we have only the teams that are voting. Are we ready? Yes? Okay. We'll call, there's too much background noise. Be careful with your video and audio. Okay, let's start with Japan.
Present. We are voting Germany.
Germany. Sorry, United States.
Present and vote for Germany.
Okay. United Kingdom.
Present and voting for Germany.
Saudi Arabia.
Present and voting for Germany.
South Africa.
Present and voting for France.
Russia.
Present and voting for Germany.
China.
Present and voting for Germany.
Brazil,
Present and voting for France.
Argentina,
Present and voting for Germany.
Australia,
Present and voting for France.
Mexico,
Present and voting for Germany.
South Korea,
Present and voting for France.
Indonesia,
Indonesia votes for France.
Indonesia,
Present, I'm voting for France.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry,
Can you listen?
sorry. Indonesia, we have to repeat your vote. In speaking.
Indonesia votes for France.
Okay. Turkey.
Present and voting for Germany.
Okay. Giovanni, let's have this calculation. In the meantime, the ambassador's jury will get ready for their vote.
President, the calculation is made and the result is Germany 9 votes, France 5 votes.
Okay. Now we need to have the ambassadors. All right. I can give you the vote that will be okay. 7 for France, 3 for Germany.
Correct.
So the total is Germany 12 and France 12.
Correct.
Okay, we'll keep the draw at the end, if you don't mind. Okay, so let's finish the debate because there's another draw. Right, are you okay? Do you agree? Okay,
Yes.
I'll do that. I'll do that. Now let's go for the second row, South Arabia and South Africa. Students ready?
Yes.
The two delegates ready? One and okay, that's one. South Arabia and Saudi Arabia and South Africa. Where are you?
I'm here.
And we need to see you on a combo, Valerio, please. Okay, ready. So we can start with Saudi Arabia.
Before
Ready
we
to go.
start, delegates,
Sorry, the theme, sorry.
the theme of the following confrontation is boosting financial inclusion of women and youth.
Okay, ready, steady, go.
Hello everybody, I am Cristina Frattaroli, I am from Liceo Blaise Pascal of Pomezia, and today I'm here to represent Saudi Arabia. The topic I would like to expose you is boosting financial inclusion of women and youth. As we all know, financial inclusion of vulnerable and served population is a prerequisite for unlocking economic opportunities and enabling inclusive and strong development. Fostering financial inclusion has always been the core of the G20 agenda. The 2017 Financial Inclusion Action Plan called for strengthening the focus on vulnerable and served groups and addressing the needs by leveraging the digital financial innovation. Despite significant progress over the past 10 years within the G20 to advance financial inclusion worldwide, challenges still persist. Those who are excluded from financial services are mostly youth and women. To help unleash opportunities for all, achieve inclusive societies, and promote economic growth, we must address significant and persistent youth and gender gaps. This will also help us to achieve the 2030 Sustainable Development Goal. Youth in developing and emerging economies are mostly financially excluded in comparison to the counterparts in developed economies. Having access to financial services in conjunction with financial education can support youth and young entrepreneurs in developing positive savings behavior, promote assets building, and provide sustainable livelihoods. Women financial inclusion is essential for economic growth, development, and poverty alleviation. Women economic empowerment has positive development outcomes, including boosting productive, increasing economic diversification, and promoting income equality. The theme of the Saudi Arabia G20 presidency is releasing opportunity of the 21st century for all, with the aims of empowering people, safeguarding the planet, and shaping new frontiers. The Global Partnership for Financial Inclusion, GPFI, work will be guided by two aims: empowering people by creating conditions in which all people, especially women and youth, can live, work, and thrive, and shaping new frontiers by adopting long-term and bold strategies to utilize the shared benefits of innovation. The GPFI under the Saudi presidency will hence focus its work in 2020 on harnessing digital and innovative technology to boost the financial wealth being of youth and women. Under the Saudi G20 presidency, the priority area for the GPFI is formulating high-level policy guidelines on digital financial inclusion for youth and women that are centered around four policy key areas. One, promoting and enabling resilience and responsible digital financial infrastructure ecosystem. Two, promoting responsible and inclusive policy making. Three, promoting inclusive growth through an enabling regulatory framework for responsible digital financial services. Four, promoting digital financial literacy and capability and supporting financial consumer and data protection against potential risks. The G20 Saudi presidency will oversee the development, supporting reports in collaboration with implementing partners, which are advancing youth digital financial inclusion. This, will, this report will identify ways to advance youth financial literacy and access to and the use of quality financial services by leveraging innovative technologies. It will also review current level youth financial inclusion, a provision of financial services to youth, and provide an analysis of global and regional tendencies and challenges that leads to youth financial exclusion. A particular focus will be given to identifying opportunities to bring youth into the formal financial sector in appropriate and age-sensitive way through digital and technology. Empowering women through digital financial inclusion. These reports will provide both global and regional perspectives on trends in women financial inclusion, including an analysis of remaining barriers and promoting solutions with a focus on digital financial services. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you so much. Now it's South Africa's turn.
Hello, my name is Tanjima and I'm from Liceo Daniele Crespi. I'm here to represent South Africa and talk about empowering women and youth financially. So, in the 2030 agenda, one of our main goals is to help and provide equality to all men, women, and youth of all races, sexualities, and religious beliefs. In, when it comes to women's rights, unfortunately, only in the last few years, South African women have been considered a part of society. In fact, in the past, they were seen more as they had more of a domestic role. They had to care for their children and their husbands, while their problems were mostly considered butter and bread because they were more about food prices, permits, and housing. Right now, nowadays, South African women have to face gender gap, have to face sexual abuse, harassment, they have to face poverty, inequality in all fields. In fact, almost 40% of women in South Africa will be raped sometime in their life, which is not normal. Many things have been done to provide equality for women, such as the commemoration of the Women's March done every year. But women, especially Black women, are still treated less than men and white women. In fact, when it comes to gender representation in jobs that have a great influence, women comprise only 32% of Supreme Court of appeal judges, only 31% of lawyers, and only 30% of ambassadors. So our possible solutions that we can advise are supporting charities that want to help women financially and give them stability to give them the possibility to create a future for themselves so they don't have to rely on men as they did in the past. Also, apart from trying to eliminate all types of violence against women, which is obviously a very heartfelt goal for us, we also want to support charities that provide protection for girls, underage girls, but also women who have been raped, sexually assaulted, and abused. And we want to give them not only help, but also rehabilitation so they can become a member of society, a functional member of society. One of these organizations is for example the NDV, the National Domestic Abuse. And other than that, we will do everything in our power to make sure that our women and the future generations of girls do not have the fear of being assaulted or verbally and physically abused when walking down the street. Doesn't matter during the day, during the night, because I'm sure that we as women have faced that and continue facing these problems, not only in South Africa, but in every country of this world, which is why feminism and the importance of giving financial stability to women is so, so important. When it comes to youth problems, after almost 2 decades after the first democratic election in South Africa, the realities facing young people are still very, very troubling because they have to face drug abuse, they have to face poverty, unequal educational possibilities, and they have to face corruption and much, much more. In fact, a study showed that children in almost 80% of South African schools receive an education which is among the worst in the world, which is, and to make matters worse, they in the latest budget speech, it was said that they wanted to cut educational funding by 7 billion, which would make the possibility to have educated and prepared youth much, much, much more hard. Because if you cut the funding, education in South Africa is already very, very needs very a lot of help. So cutting the funding would make the matters only worse. Also, in the last year, it was discovered that over half of young people aged between 15 and 24 are not only unemployed, but they live under the line of poverty, which is much worse. And they also die from non-natural deaths, such as drug abuse, which is probably drug abuse is something they turn to when they don't receive support, the support that they should receive from the government and their people. We mustn't forget that the youth also comprises the LGBTQ community. In fact, a recent survey showed that of 2,000 LGBTQ members showed that 39% of them are.
Time.
It showed that there were 2 minutes.
Okay, you can just finish.
Can I finish?
Yes.
Okay, so I was saying that 39% of them were verbally abused, 20% of them were threatened with harm, 17% of them were threatened were attacked physically, and many of them die because they are attacked because of discrimination. In fact, our possible solutions could be to, to fund organizations that want to end all types of disparities, and also to encourage our youth to uh, start entrepreneur careers and be more independent, so they can start small businesses which we can fund and support. This is all. Thank you for listening.
Okay.
And I want to say, wow, women.
Okay, thank you very much.
Non se
Right.
può fare.
I mean, we need to get to the voting system, and therefore keep all your microphones off and even the video if you are not involved in the voting. So please, even South Africa and Saudi Arabia, please off your video. Are we ready? Hopefully. Okay, Japan.
Present. We are voting South Africa.
Germany.
Present and voting for Saudi Arabia.
We cannot hear.
Present and voting for Saudi Arabia.
Germany, was that you speaking?
Yes, yes I am.
Please repeat.
Present and voting for Saudi Arabia.
Okay. United States.
Present and vote for Saudi Arabia.
France.
Present and voting for South Africa.
United Kingdom.
Present and voting for Saudi Arabia.
China.
Present and voting for Saudi Arabia.
Brazil.
Present and voting for South Africa.
Argentina.
Present and voting for South Africa.
Australia.
Present and voting for Saudi Arabia.
Mexico.
Present and voting for Saudi Arabia.
South Korea.
Present and voting for South Africa.
Indonesia.
Indonesia vote for Saudi Arabia.
Turkey.
Present and voting for Saudi Arabia.
Okay, let's get the total.
Sorry, President. I only count 13 votes.
Which one are we missing?
Us, Russia.
Okay,
Oh,
Russia.
Russia. Sorry.
Saudi Arabia.
All right.
Okay, so at the moment, after the vote of the assembly, we have Saudi Arabia, 9 votes, South Africa, 5 votes.
Okay, now we'll get the vote from the ambassadors.
No, vabbè. Cioè, follia.
Okay,
Follia.
listen very carefully. Please listen very carefully. We hear some comments, even in Italian, which we cannot accept. So please avoid commenting, and if you do it, at least do it in English. You have to be silent and keep your microphone off. Is that clear? Okay.
So, President, can I speak?
Who's speaking? Giovanni?
Giovanni Diano, yes.
Yes.
I collected the votes of the jury. And South
Wait a
Africa.
minute. Wait a minute. They should be giving me the votes on WhatsApp.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Okay, Giovanni, now I get all the 3 votes, and I get a total 3 for South Africa, which makes 9, and a total of 5 for Saudi Arabia, which makes exactly another draw.
Correct.
Okay, so I reconfirm that we'll solve the thing afterwards. Now we get to the third debate.
Wait, sorry. I am the delegate of Saudi Arabia. Wasn't our points 9? Weren't our points 9?
Saudi Arabia?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Plus
9.
5 of the
Yes.
other 5 points.
It's 14 in total. Yes.
So it's not a.
How many points do we have in total? South Africa speaking.
In total 12. So you have 5 from the assembly vote and 9 from the jury.
So it's 14.
Sorry?
So it's 14, not 12.
I'm sorry, 14, yes.
And that's because it's a draw.
It's a try. Okay, so we'll
for all of you.
show the.
Okay, it's for all of you. A draw 9559, 9559. Ready for third debate. China versus Argentina. Are the delegates ready? I see Argentina. And China.
Yes.
Okay, ready to start. China starts.
Before you start, sorry, the theme of the following match is promoting food security.
Good. Ready, China.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Felice and I'm attending Liceo Rosa Gian Turco from Potenza. Promoting food security and access to food for the entire world population is a challenge that cannot be postponed anymore. The planetary pandemic emergency requires a multifactorial analysis where everything is connected: health, environment, and energy. In China, we are about 1,400,000,000 people, so we represent a useful laboratory also globally. The ongoing climate change does not allow isolated decision-making policies. It is necessary to cooperate and find solutions consistent with objectives of the United Nations 2030 agenda. Man is what he eats. His psychophysical well-being is closely linked to healthy and safe food and is connected to environmental health, which requires the adoption of production models that respect the fundamental matrices: water, soil, and air. Agriculture, as the first link in food production, cannot ignore the demographic data that foresee a population of 9 billion by 2050. But it cannot overlook adverse phenomena that are occurring, such as the lack of water with consequent desertification and loss of productive soil. The pollution of natural resources raises many issues, and some of them seem to be in conflict, such as the increase in productivity, production, and the safety of the entire supply chain. The price that humanity has paid for COVID-19 has created many questions regarding the causal link between disease and food security. The phenomenon of spillover, the passage of pathologies between humans and animals, leads everyone to a serious reflection on the need to find solutions. Suddenly, we realized how important it is to take care of local areas and how connected the two systems are, to the point of requiring responsible investments. Adherence to the One Health approach highlights how the human health is linked to animal health and the shared environment, which is why stricter safety and hygiene rules are needed to avoid the spread of germs between animals and humans. We Chinese are accustomed to problems, but we face them like opportunities to improve the difficulties that damage the human well-being. For example, the 2015 law about the food safety that include precautionary and sanction rules among the heaviest ever approved. This law was the answer to a situation that compromised the credibility of Chinese business world within the state and on the international stage. Sure enough, there were permanent damage caused to 300,000 children for dry milk adulterated with melamine. The National Assembly of People considered a governmental priority the health protection cannot to safe food. We have focused on product and firm traceability for online and direct sales. We have introduced the obligation of the certification and insurance policy about the quality of the product. The expert must guarantee safe standards, and the imported products must respect the standards of equality requested by the legislation with inflexible sanctions. We implemented the functions of the National Institution for Food and Drugs, China Food and Drug Administration. Regarding the repressive system, we have aggravated the sanctions for the transgressors and the recognitions for the consumers that report publicly the violations about the food safety food. The success of regulatory interventions would not have been possible if the Chinese state had not guaranteed an audit phase by the independent authorities for the control and the quality of food products. These rules should be universal in a context of cooperation between states and United Nations bodies such as FAO and WHO. Only in this way will it be possible to face challenges and risks that require investment and reforms at a global and borderless level. The free trade of transparent trading system is the first prerequisite to avoid that human communities find themselves in difficulties in the supply of space of safe food. In this sense, the WTO could be a driving partner. Our weapons to build a better world will be a global economy, innovation based on digitalization, on emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence. Through the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, we will promote a global finance that ensures quality investments in the food supply chain. Food fraud has to be fought with strict regulations, and the fight against corruption will be tough. It's necessary to invest on the renewable energy and bet on a circular economy to eliminate waste with 3R: recycle, reuse, and reduce. Only with this way we can avoid the food the wastefulness and beat the hungriness. Ensuring food and food security, we will avoid diseases and human flow, which involve humanitarian disasters. If our meeting will lead to concrete action, we will be remembered by the future generations. If this will be only words, we're going to fall down. We thank all the ambassadors and we attend for a new summit to collect good result from the proposal. And like a Chinese proverb says, who comes back from trip will never be the same person who started to travel. Thanks for the time.
You had more time anyway, so it's China's turn. Something wrong? Qualche problema tecnico?
Sorry, can I start?
Just 1 second, there was a technical problem, I guess. So let's put again the combo and you get your go. Okay. Can we get Valerio the combo?
Can I start now?
You're on a
Can I
combo
start or?
viewing, but anyway, you can start. Off you go.
Okay. Okay, I'd like to start my speech with a quote. Destiny is not a matter of luck, but it is a matter of choices. It is not something that must be expected, but rather something that must be achieved. And so William Jennings Bryan once said, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, good morning. I'm Ilya from Isla Casagrande, and I represent the country of Argentina. I decided to start my speech with a quote of a US politician and why his words effectively explain the position of the country I represent regarding the subject that we are now facing. So today we are called upon to discuss promoting food security. The solution to the problem is not a question of luck, but of effective policies. The challenge we're facing now is to feed 8 billion people all over the world, but respecting all the rules as required by the international laws. Food access and security is an important issue, and it is not only political, but also economical and cultural at the same time, and it needs to be faced from a different perspective compared to the past years. So there are two main aspects of the problem. One is the quantitative one regarding the material access availability of food, and the other one is the qualitative one regarding access to healthy and nutritious food. In the poor states, these are structural problems, and they are caused by different factors such as the impossibility to access the land, or lack of sanitary structures, and like, for example, drinking water or electric energy. The times that we are living now are characterized by very big imbalances in the agricultural sphere. The poor management of natural resources that is combined with the almost systematic destruction of local ecosystem is making terrain particularly unstable. Also, the uncontrolled use of industrial type agriculture continues poisoning both the earth and the air and making more critical the situation of climate changes. Another factor contributing to the increase of food scarcity is the conversion of millions and millions of hectares of arable land from food production to production of agrofuels. This practice is now commonly used in many countries of Asia, Africa, and Latin America, and it is extremely worrying because it was supposed to be eco-friendly, but in reality, the amount of CO2 emissions increased in years. This need to reduce CO2 emissions gave large possibilities to invest billions and billions of dollars of public and private money in the search for an ecological solution. One of the best results was given by the agricultural sector. In fact, it was discovered that it is possible to obtain biological fuels from organic waste. The main problem here that rises is the one regarding raw materials, which quality will increase and which costs will increase, and this will damage mainly poor social classes. Even today, in 2020, we see suffering of hunger 1 person out of 9. This situation is very common in many countries of Africa, Asia, and South America. And in these days, we assist to an even worse situation than 3 or 5 years ago. With the pandemic situation, many of us thought that the virus will equalize people, but instead it created an even bigger rift among social classes. This caused some dramatic effects on the homogeneous access to food. How? Let me explain. Some months ago, the Science magazine posted an analysis from 4 researchers of the Center of the International Policy. And the result of this analysis established that most of the people give their preference to more poor quality food and cheaper food than a more healthy but expensive one. Unlike the swine fever that was about 3 or 5 years ago that damaged the production of animal origin food, COVID-19 is damaging the agriculture itself. This is a very big problem. This is because of social distancing, for example, and mobility restrictions. In fact, many workers aren't able to interact with multiple farms and moving between different areas of the country. At this point, I would like you to reflect on how food scarcity is one of the most pressing concerns for many states. This is already a problem and that in future will increase, and also the free arable land will represent a rare good. In fact, the so-called land grabbing practice has been presented over the years as a solution to the need to increase investments in agriculture. What I want to emphasize, however, is how especially in rural communities, access to land is automatically linked to the right to food. The opportunity to cultivate their own plot of land is, for many people, essential, and it is a fundamental element for fighting hunger and poverty. So losing this possibility means falling into the vortex of food insecurity, remaining deprived of further development opportunities. The states that are traditionally have the most critical levels of malnutrition are those that most sell their land to foreign investors in exchange for money. In doing so, however, they are deprived of their best opportunity to achieve a decent level of food security. Without the possibility of producing or buying food independently, the solution that remains is to continue to rely on humanitarian aid that allows survival, but that do not bring added value to either the local economy or the people's diet. So the problems of food accessibility and security can find their solution by adopting programs of land recovery. In fact, these lands will be given back to their previous owners. This will give the possibility to a potential economical growth and to a higher level of food security by maintaining land biodiversity also. Land grabbing not only prevents access to food as a fruit of the earth, but has major consequences on water resources and forest areas that are cleared to free up space to crops. So food security is an important issue, and it affects not only the agricultural sector, but also other sectors. So that's it, and thanks for the attention.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we get to voting, so get ready. You can take your video off and leave only the borders. Argentina, please off. Almost ready. Okay, I guess we can start. And again, here we go. Japan.
Present, we vote for Argentina.
Okay. Present and voting for Argentina. Okay. Germany.
Present and voting for Argentina.
Germany, I can't hear you.
Present and voting for Argentina.
Okay. United States.
Present and voting for Argentina.
Okay. France.
Present and voting for Argentina.
United Kingdom.
Present and voting for Argentina.
Saudi Arabia.
Present and voting for China.
South Africa.
Present and voting for Argentina.
Russia.
Present and voting for Argentina.
Brazil.
Present and voting for Argentina.
Australia.
Present and voting for Argentina.
Mexico.
Present and voting for Argentina.
Okay. South Korea.
Present and voting for Argentina.
Indonesia.
Indonesia.
Indonesia. Indonesia, we need your vote. Okay, let's get Turkey's vote.
Present and voting for Argentina.
So we'll get back to Indonesia. Okay. Can somebody get in touch with Indonesia in a different way? Indonesia, we need your vote.
Indonesia voted for China.
Okay. Giovanni, is that all now? Somebody speaking?
No, President. There are 2 votes missing.
What is missing?
Who didn't vote?
Okay, let's do it again. It's easier. Japan? Let's repeat the vote. Japan.
Present and voting for Argentina.
Good. Germany.
Present and voting for Argentina.
US. United States. The US disappeared. We'll get back to you. France.
Present and voting for Argentina.
United Kingdom.
Present and voting for Argentina.
Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia.
Present and voting for China.
South Africa.
Present and voting for Argentina.
Russia.
Present and voting for Argentina.
Brazil.
Present and voting for Argentina.
Australia.
Present and voting for Argentina.
Mexico.
Present
Mexico.
and voting for Argentina.
South Korea.
Present and voting for Argentina.
Indonesia. Indonesia. Sorry. Try again.
Indonesia voted China.
Okay. Turkey.
Present and voting for Argentina.
Giovanni, that should be all. There are no more.
Yes, President.
Total.
So, in spite of the technical issues, we were able to collect all the votes, which is a clear result of Argentina, 12 votes,
Okay.
China, 2 votes.
Okay. Now we'll get to the jury vote. Okay. This time we have clear votes. Argentina from the jury gets 9 points and China 3 points. Make the calculations. It's not difficult. 5 in total for China and 21 for Argentina. Is that correct?
Correct.
Correct. So we can get to next debate, which will be Mexico versus Indonesia. Indonesia, please check your technical situation there before you speak. And the theme they will be debating is
Women's empowerment.
okay, ready. Valerio, get to the combo for these 2 countries, Mexico and Indonesia. Here's Mexico.
Yes.
And here is Indonesia. Okay. The starting country is Mexico. Are you ready?
Yes.
No, wait. Indonesia is not completely fit. We don't see your face.
I think that in Indonesia they have some issues with their network connection.
Okay. So do we get the voice or not?
Indonesia, please stop the video.
Indonesia, here it is.
No, please, Indonesia, stop the video and start the audio, please.
You see me?
Indonesia. Okay, we can get to the combo now. Mexico, ready to start?
Can we double check in the, sorry, Mexico, sorry. I'd like to check Indonesia audio.
Okay.
It's fine.
Indonesia, try and speak.
Do you listen to me?
Yes, okay, that's fine.
A bit louder, but we can solve that. Okay.
Okay,
We
thank you.
start with Mexico. Ready to go. Go.
Good morning. I'm Matteo Bertani and I'm 17. Mexico is very proud of the progress of women's social and working conditions over the last few decades. We have taken giant steps in the direction of making the two genders more equal by implementing various policies. Women's participation in public and social life is incomparably greater than it was a century ago. Women's lives have changed over these years thanks to our improvements. Their work, their family life, educational opportunities, the healthcare they can access, their social standing and political participation have gotten better and better. For instance, in 1910, women made up 14% of the workforce, while by 2008 they were 38%. And almost half of that increase occurred in the last 40 years. Not the best possible numbers, but still a huge change. But even though Mexico is part of the UN Women Organization, which strives for gender equality mainly in the field of work, they continue to earn 84% of what their male counterparts do. One of the most worrying situations regarding women, anyway, is most likely to be the crime rate. The growing influence of organized crime has caused concerns about human trafficking, mainly of women and children. To decrease Mexico's femicide rate and empower young willing women at the same time, our nation could take inspiration from other developing countries and introduce a taxi service run and used by women alone. By proposing a women-dedicated taxi service, it is possible to limit the number of night attacks, which could potentially stop sexual assaults. In the meantime, this is a possibility to guarantee a job to those women who are undeniably underpaid in other workplaces. This kind of project has already been developed by India, where it is called woman cabs. So women drivers there are handpicked among those who want to be a role model to other women. Then they are trained. Additionally, many of them come from rural backgrounds, and becoming a driver is a great way to encourage them into living a new life. So there is no reason why Mexico cannot compete with India and other countries. We can and must help women in every possible way. Their work should be valued much more than it is being valued at the moment. It should not be seen as a field in which they are less worthy of a pay than men, but as one in which they have the same right to gain the money they need to live. Also, because they are working citizens, their political participation and decision-making should be given much more value. Talking about the political situation of Mexican women, it is fundamental to consider that 28% of the total deputies of the present legislature are women, even though the right to vote was achieved only in 1953. In 2002, the election laws stipulated that no more than 70% of a party's candidates must be from a single gender. However, this measure is unfortunately not always accomplished. Thus, it is so important for this law to be enforced and made clearer. The recent case of 8 women deputies who, after being sworn in, immediately attempted to resign and turn over their seats to male running mates reveals that the law is only seen as a formal requirement, and political equality is often undermined by threats and corruption. Another important topic to address is academic and sexual education, which is generally overlooked in schools. 1 girl out of 10 doesn't have an education, and 2/3 of all women aged 15 and older have experienced some kind of violence in their lives. As a result, there are repercussions on every aspect of women's sexual life. One of the most evident effects is that many young women have no clue about how contraceptive methods work. It is also important to note that abortion laws are present in only 2 states out of 31 in Mexico, and specifically in Oaxaca and Mexico City, which means that there are many single and young mothers facing financial difficulties. And the introduction of a quota system and an incentive for companies to hire young women with children could be one of the possible solutions to the issue. To conclude, I would like to thank my fellow delegates and quote this inspirational phrase from this year's G20, daring us to imagine a world where women's equality is a reality, because if not now, then when?
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, especially from the part of the women. Thanks so much. Right. Indonesia, are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Ready.
Good afternoon, I'm Enrico
Wait.
I'm 16.
Take a breath. Wait.
Good afternoon.
Take a breath.
Okay.
Slow down and start again.
Good afternoon, I'm Enrico Savognan. I'm 16 and I'm from Isis Basotulana in the area of Udine. I'm really proud to deal with the issue of Indonesian women empowerment, and that's why I would like to thank you all for the opportunity I was given. Women's situation in Indonesia is really complex and differs in the different regions. Unfortunately, it is said to be the second worst nation in South Asia for women. As previously introduced by my friend Lucia, the new Indonesian labor law represents a problem for women employment and maternity leave as well. Women's security is affected in several ways, from domestic rapes to exploitation, hazardous work, and lack of health and welfare rights. As reported in a survey conducted in 2017, Indonesia, one woman out of 3 has been victim of the sexual assault at least once in her lifetime, even if their situation shows data similar to the rest of the world. The first fine against sexual assault dates back to 2016. Indeed, up to that time, the women who report harassment were often accused of stigmatization. Since Indonesia is mainly a Muslim country where the Sharia law is still applied in particular areas, women usually get engaged when they're still very young. To tell the truth, more than a girl out of 7 has been engaged before turning 18, so they leave their studies just to take the role of wife and mother. An additional issue concerning the female condition refers to the private health system. Usually, single women cannot afford paying for health insurance and taxation. As a result, they do not get any help, for example, during delivery. As far as women's employment is concerned, only 51% of Indonesian women are employed, and female labor force participation rate is well below the male one, around 80%, a very low rate if compared to other countries at similar stage of development. One must consider human trafficking too. Indeed, women often work in slavery conditions as domestic helpers, especially in Hong Kong. They are compelled to work lots of working hours, underpaid, victims of sexual violence, and unable to leave the house where they work. Fortunately, something is changing. Possible steps to be taken in view of Indonesian women's empowerment can be envisaged. Indonesian current President Joko Widodo established a ministry that would take care of women and children problems. During his presidency, he also made gender equality a cornerstone of his agenda. And currently, he is a global ambassador for the He for She campaign, making it his mission to fill his cabinet with strong and skilled women. Sri Mulyani Indrawati, for example, became World's Minister of the Year for her reforms about e-filing services. Since she became leader of the World Bank, she used her position to fight for gender equality. Despite considerable resistance, luckily, 3 key bills in favor of women's empowerment and protection are going to be passed right now. the Sexual Violence Bill, the Domestic Workers Bill, and the recognition of rights for indigenous people. The first one is against domestic violence, thus making it illegal for a man to commit violence against a woman in a house. The second one deals with the protection of domestic workers. Indeed, there is an extraordinary number, happen to be women, whose rights are not guaranteed in the labor market. As a consequence, their employers do not feel compelled to pay for minimum wages. If passed, the bill could guarantee labor rights and protection to domestic women. The third one is meant to protect indigenous people, and in particular, indigenous women. There are millions of people who identify as indigenous in Indonesia. Therefore, protecting them means protecting their land rights, since there are several issues around land grabbing between local people, private customers, and the government. A new trend is shown by the younger female generation's attitude to participate into the female labor force. Indonesia is now showing serious commitment to decrease the gap between female and male labor force participation, 25% before 2025. The aim is to foster greater equality between women and men in terms of wages, education, health, and insurance. In particular, education equality represents a critical pathway to economic opportunities later in life. Efficient and safe transport can indeed assist women to better juggle work and family responsibilities. That is why women need institutions allow signal commitment to really affect the gender gap. It follows that large investments are needed. A sharp commitment is therefore welcome and should be supported at an international level. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much. You still have time, but anyway, you finish your speech. Now, let's get to voting, then I have something to say. Okay, can we have all the people not involved in the voting system not on video? Can you switch off your video? Okay. I have to double check something. Can I see in face the person voting for Japan?
Here we are.
Yes, I would like to see your face without mask.
Ah.
What's your name?
Claudia Meschiari. I'm the teacher and here are the students.
Okay. Please, you should leave the floor to the students. You are not allowed to vote. You are not allowed to be the reporter.
Ah, okay.
You should also not be there helping them in any way.
Ah. Sorry.
We need a student.
Hi.
And if you can, please take your mask away. Okay. Is there anybody else that pretends to be a student? Don't pretend to be students. You are recognizable.
Sorry,
That's okay. We'll consider that. No problem. We'll consider that.
I'm sorry. We just didn't know that the vote. We are together. I didn't. We work together. I didn't help them, and we were the first one playing. So we are just.
I have to believe you in any way because you say so. But since somebody noticed, I needed to double check, and that's what I did.
Okay, we didn't know. Sorry.
I would be happy, as I said at the beginning, that the students were left completely alone.
I'm
Teachers
sorry.
should be only backing them until they start working. Anyway, that's it. Let's get to voting because
just to be precise, I was not pretending to be a student. I was just didn't know. And
Okay,
we were.
I get your point, but please let the students work on their own. Student.
Hi.
Okay. Now let's start our last vote. Japan.
Present. I'm voting
Present
for
and voting for
Indonesia.
okay. Germany.
Present and voting for Mexico.
US.
Present and we vote for Indonesia.
France.
Present and voting for Mexico.
United Kingdom.
Present and voting for Mexico.
Saudi Arabia.
Present and voting for Indonesia.
South Africa.
Present and voting for Mexico.
Russia.
Present and voting for Mexico.
China.
Present and voting Indonesia.
Brazil.
Present and voting for Mexico.
Argentina.
Present and voting for Mexico.
Australia.
Present and voting for Indonesia.
South Korea.
Present and voting for Indonesia.
Turkey.
Present and voting for Mexico.
Giovanni, did we get all the 14 votes?
Yes, President. And I can already say that it's a draw. It's 7 votes each.
Okay. 7. Now, that would be the vote for the jury to change or to confirm this. Okay.
I'm sorry, I think there's been an error in the count.
Who's speaking?
Mexico.
Mexico.
Mexico?
There has been an error in the count.
Which error? Sorry.
I think we were 8 and not 7.
You're speaking on behalf of which country are you?
You should be away from the voting system. Let's finish the voting, and when you don't agree, you'll tell it at the end. Please, you are not part of the voting. You are the part that's been voted.
Sorry.
Okay. All right, let me see what the ambassadors are voting. Okay, I got all the votes from the ambassador, and that would be a total of 3 for Indonesia and a total of 8 for Mexico. That will get, from our calculation, up to 15 for Mexico and 10 for Indonesia. Now I will ask Giovanni to double check the number of votes for Mexico. You don't need it, but anyway, we can do it anyway.
No, of course, President, but I need the assembly to revote in order to check.
Okay, we'll revote.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay, then back to our friends from Japan, the student. Japan.
What?
We need to revote. There is a double check.
Yes.
Japan.
We are voting for Indonesia.
Okay. Germany.
Present and voting for Mexico.
US.
Present and we vote for Indonesia.
France.
Present and voting for Mexico.
United Kingdom.
Present and voting for Mexico.
Saudi Arabia.
Present and voting for Indonesia.
South Africa.
Present and voting for Mexico.
Russia.
Present and voting for Mexico.
China.
Present and voting Indonesia.
Brazil.
Present and voting Mexico.
Argentina,
Present and voting Mexico.
Australia,
Present and voting for Indonesia.
South Korea,
Present and voting for Indonesia.
Turkey.
Present and voting for Mexico.
Now, Giovanni, is that okay?
Yes, President, and I have to admit my mistake because it is true that Mexico received 8 votes and
Okay.
Indonesia 6. So I
Okay, that
apologize
doesn't
to
change the
the
result,
delegation
which
of
is
Mexico.
16, and Mexico passes to the final. Okay, last and final debate. We have UK and Turkey. Absolutely, Turkey and UK. Turkey ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, and UK.
Yes, same here.
Right, let's get on the combo. Perfect. Okay, ready to go, Turkey?
Yeah.
Go.
Excuse me, President, before they start, I would like to
I'm
quickly
sorry again. Just say the theme.
because in this case we have 2 different themes debated. And for Turkey, it will be women's empowerment again, while for the United Kingdom, it will be boosting financial inclusion of women and youth. That's it.
Good. Let's start. Turkey.
All right. So, hi everyone. My name is Christian, and I'm from the Liceo Scientifico Linguistico di Ceccano. And today I will be talking about women's empowerment in Turkey. So, without wasting any time, I'm gonna get started. So, women in Turkey face significant disparities in employment and in some regions, education as well. And illiteracy is particularly prevalent among rural women who are often not sent to school as girls. Turkey gave full political rights to women, including the right to elect and be elected locally in 1930 and nationwide in 1934. Article 10 of the Turkish constitution bans any discrimination, state or private, on the grounds of sex. And Turkey is the first country which had a woman as the president of its constitutional court. Women in Turkey continue to be the victims of rape and killings, especially in the Kurdish southeastern Anatolia region, where most of the crimes take place against women. Furthermore, research by scholars and government agencies indicate widespread domestic violence in Turkish population. And despite Turkey being a patriarchal society, there are many historical records of Turkish women involved in public life and activism. Women are faced with limited opportunities in the political arena, but they are active in women's branches of the political parties. Since 1985, Turkish women have the right to freely exercise abortions, and they also have the right since 1926 to initiate and obtain a divorce. It is also pretty common, are also pretty common childhood marriages in Turkey. This practice being especially widespread in the eastern and central parts of the country. The hijab is worn by more than 20% of Turkish women and is allowed to women working in public offices during the practice of their functions. And girl students in primary and secondary education are also allowed to wear hijab. The same cannot be said about women attending university. In fact, a woman cannot go to university if she wears a hijab. The minimum age for marriage was also raised to 18. And in case of forced marriage, women have the right to ask an annulment within the first 5 years of marriage. Women were also attacked for their way of clothing. Some women were abused in the streets by men and police because of their clothes. And according to a study, 30% of the police officers agreed that some women deserve rape, and 50% of other professional groups actually said that physical appearance and behaviors of women tempt men to rape. Over the past 10 years, many businesses have started to realize the many advantages of gender balance. There have been many studies that have clearly shown over and over that gender balance is good for increased talent, culture, innovation, leadership, and better performance. Turkey has spent many years trying to identify issues surrounding education, health, violence, and being a part of the workforce. These programs are established to ensure gender equality and women's empowerment, and policies and laws are now in place that are top priorities to the Turkish government for the reason that we want to be an important player in the European Union. Participating parties include universities, government and non-government organizations, public institutions, and organizations. Turkey and international organizations have played a major role within the country. Recently, focusing just on women is no longer the case because there must be a focus on men as well in order to change old traditions and their bad behavior, so to bring greater prosperity to the country. We also wanted to talk about a movie, a film directed by a Turkish-French film director named Deniz Gams Ergüven. The movie is called Mustang, and it deals with the conditions of women in the rural regions of Turkey. So, as we said before, the majority of women living in the countryside of Turkey are the most discriminated ones. After one of their teachers left to teach in Istanbul, these five sisters were abused by their grandparents, and they were taught how to be good wives and how to be a woman. They were literally imprisoned in their own house without any way out. And the movie condemns the treatment of women in Anatolia villages. Three of the sisters are not capable of running away from their fate, but only two sisters managed to find a way out and escape from that horrible place. We think that this film is a very good example on how women and young girls live and are treated in the suburban regions of Turkey, where laws are not respected. The title is a reference to the freedom that these girls hope to get. Their thirst for life, enthusiasm, passion are the heart of the film. They don't give up and eventually win. And the most frightening aspect is the will to repress all this. They're accused of having done something sinful with the boys, but it was just an innocent game. And sin is in the head of those who accuse. Mustang is the English version of the Spanish term mesteño, meaning not tamed, a word that evokes the wild spirit of horses, the speed of their movements between impetuousness and gracefulness. These five girls are just like them, playful, courageous, lighthearted, and carefree. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. You
Thank you.
had more time, but you haven't used it. Now it's your turn, UK. Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
Everyone, I am Gabriel Josca and I'm from Latina. I attend Vittorio Veneto Salvemini Institute. Our topic is boosting financial inclusion of women and youth. So young people face some difficulties in their transition to adulthood. The demographic growth could be seen as an opportunity, but it could represent a major threat to this young youth's future. Their needs are not addressed. New approaches that support vulnerable youth are gaining attention. Access to financial and social assets is a key factor to help youth make their own economic decisions and escape poverty. Youth financial inclusion can promote entrepreneurship and asset building. The UK strategy for financial well-being established five agendas for change and set goals to achieve by 2030. One of these is 2 million more children and young people SWAP getting a meaningful financial education by 2030. To support this aim, money and pension services are conducted a nationality representative survey of the financial knowledge, attitude and behaviors of 7 to 70 years old and their parents living in the UK. This set policy agenda for SYP financial capability, emphasis for and highlights areas for the sector to explore further thought, further research, testing, or innovation. In the UK, the financial services sector is seen as offering women a better career. Unprecedented number of well-qualified young women are now achieving a promotion to first-line management position. In order to overcome barriers faced by women to access and use financial services, three sets of recommendations are proposed for G20 countries. The first one is a set of cross-cutting issues that are needed to support women's financial inclusion. Second one is measures to close the gender gap by supporting the inclusion of financially excluded women. The third one is a recommendation to support the development of women-led businesses to grow their access to financial services. Determining what needs to be done to close the gender gap in financial services usage. This is a compelling argument for taking a closer look at what policymakers and central banks are doing to fine-tune an enabling policy environment. Other measures to improve female financial inclusion could involve building and sharing data on women business to benefit women. We are delighted to announce that the launch of the UK's first cross-sector research program, accelerating change together with the aim of driving policy change to better support and retain women working in financial services. This is the UK's first cross-sector research program designed to bring a gender lens to the UK financial services industry. The four-year program will be conducted by the London School of Economics and Political Science, LSE, and the Wisdom Council. We are delighted to be part of this research program where women can achieve their full potential as leaders and agents for change. Year one of the ACT research program will explore the barriers and opportunities for women in the midterm of their careers through new primary research. This multi-year program will be carried out in four distinct phases. Will resist that are prevalent for organization. The ACT research program is a pioneering approach that brings together the UK's most innovative and financial services organization to collectively drive the development of new solutions that will help turn the gender diversity ideal. Thank you for the attention.
Okay, so you as well have not completed your time, but anyway, you have completed your speech. Right, we'll get to voting. Okay, you can off your video. Let's see who is ready to vote. Not many. Somebody missing. Okay, we'll see. I'll call the roll and see who is missing. Right, Japan.
Present, we are voting for Turkey.
Present and voting for Turkey. Okay. Germany.
Present and voting for Turkey.
US.
Present and we vote for UK.
France.
Present and voting for Turkey.
UK. Oh, sorry, my mistake. Saudi Arabia.
Present and voting for the UK.
South Africa.
Present and voting for Turkey.
Russia.
Present and voting for Turkey.
China. China again. China. We'll get back to you. Brazil.
Present and voting for Turkey.
Argentina.
Present and voting for UK.
Australia.
Present and voting for the UK.
Mexico. Mexico.
Present and voting for Turkey.
South Korea.
Present and voting for Turkey.
Indonesia.
Present and voting for Turkey.
And back to China.
I'm sorry, present and voting UK.
Okay. Giovanni, did we get all the votes?
Yes, President.
Yes.
The results are as follows. Turkey, 9 votes.
Yes.
United Kingdom, 5 votes.
5. Now we'll get to the jury. Okay. So we have 8 for Turkey, 3 for the UK, which makes a total of 17 for Turkey and 8 for UK, which passes this test. Okay, now that we have finished all the activities for the day on debating, I need to say something. China, first of all, gets penalized for the expressions used on the chat. In general, people are not expressing themselves the way they should, and they show they haven't understood much about what we said concerning the formal speaking and activity in presence and the informal diplomatic way of negotiating. You shouldn't confuse these two levels. There is a level of formality that needs to be respected. What you want to do behind our backs, it's really up to your dignity and your ability to negotiate. From what we see, we have a strong doubt that the negotiation has been not very clear. You're talking about selling boards, offering boards. You're dealing with something that maybe is not easy for you. We understand that you're young and not expert, but you should listen carefully to what you've been told. So I suggest that before we define the two draws, we'll take 2 minutes to define a few things, penalization and all the rest. I'm looking for the person in particular for China that I really didn't like the way she expressed. Is it girl? I'll find out. So 2 minutes interruption. Valerio, please put some nice music on or some nice videos, and we'll get back in 2 minutes. Ok, Valerio, possiamo interrompere il video e riprendere. Ok. Right.
Posso
Now.
chiedere, professoressa, se riattiva anche il suo video? Lo dico soprattutto per lo streaming, una cortesia.
Sì, ok.
Grazie.
Va bene. That's it. So now we have finished our activities, but not for everybody. So I will give the floor to Giorgio Bartolomucci that will give his idea of how to solve the two draws.
Well, first of all, thank you very much to everybody. And I have been following all the debates. I have to say that with the short time that has been given to the school for preparing, we had a very satisfactory level of intervention. The situation that has been created by the draws is such that we would not like really to use the coin again because it's something that, as Ambassador Savoia was saying, is a bit too harsh and it's not really satisfactory. So the proposal is this. We will have Germany, France, and Australia and South Africa that Arabia Saudita, I think it's the third team that has been in a draw. We will have them exchanging their counterpart such that Germany will debate tomorrow morning against South Africa and France against Saudi Arabia on the topic that we had assigned as a topic of reserve for the final. And Giovanni, may you read the topic, please?
Of course. The topic is utilizing technology in infrastructure.
Okay, then each team, Germania against South Africa and France against Saudi Arabia, will have 3 minutes each. It's only a statement. And the jury will decide which one of the two will pass to the final. In this way, we will give you the opportunity to continue in the game. And we hope that you understand that these situations are very common in multilateral negotiation and multilateral debates. So please prepare yourself on this topic. Be short, be effective, and tomorrow morning before the final, we will see who will join Argentina, Mexico, and Turkey in the final 5. The final 5 will be just on the same topic that you have been assigned and that Giovanni is going to repeat now.
Enabling person-centered health systems.
And you will have each one of the 5 final speakers will have 5 minutes each on the same topic. So try to be really concentrated on the issue, on the topic itself, and the people that have to prepare for these debates for the semi-final, extra semi-final, and the final, have a nice evening of work. For the negotiator, please do not utilize public chat. It's not fair that you are accusing each other for something that is not really, we cannot control if that's true, and it's something that does not appear as we expect a fair game. So do the negotiation if you want to do it in private and continue till tomorrow because the final it's very challenging and we hope that you will succeed in getting the best out of your negotiation but also out of your preparation on the topic. So,
Okay, Giorgio, thank you
thank you very much.
Before we
Sorry
close,
to
can
interrupt.
I ask everybody to get on the video? To get on video completely, all of us.
Sorry.
There is, yes?
Sorry. To invite everybody to the main room, as we are now closing the negotiation rooms. We have to do
Okay.
that. Okay?
Finish.
Okay,
Close.
choose.
Get the video on and let me give the floor to Ambassador Berga, who would like to give some professional and personal recommendation and suggestion for your activity. Okay, is everybody on video now?
They're coming in.
Yes, you look so beautiful, all of you, no problem. Okay. Ambassadors.
Ecco qua. Can you
On
hear
behalf of the
me?
whole jury, Ambassador Berga is giving you some important hints and recommendations. Thanks.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Yes.
well, dear student, first of all, I would like to congratulate all of you for your really performance today. Well, tomorrow will be the final session, so we have to decide, and it will not so easy to choose and to select. So what I would recommend is to pay attention not only to the text, but also to how to the tone of your expose, how you will even read, because I know that you had so little time to prepare this challenge, but so really you have not only to read, but you have you know, to defend, if you want, the position of your country on the issue which you will discuss. And I repeat, so please try, if you want to be a little actor, you know, and because this is also part of the diplomacy, cioè to be convincing. So best wishes. Have a nice evening in Rome. Not too late, because there is the curfew at a certain time. So unfortunately, you cannot enjoy. I don't know when. No, you are not in Rome, because you are in your different places. But in any case, go to bed early, so to be ready to start tomorrow morning at the best of your physical and mental conditions.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Berga. Is there anybody else that wants to give some final comments?
At what time is the appointment?
I guess we said 9 o'clock.
Okay, I just wanted to repeat it because people will connect from many countries to
Yes,
follow.
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock Italian time.
Okay, is President Virli still here or not?
Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt. This is
speaking?
Tony from Australia. There's a question on the chat, and there's a South Africa who is asking about tomorrow. They says that it will be the other schools' votes for tomorrow for the 3 minutes statements.
I'm sorry, I don't get your point.
Yes. The answer is yes. The vote will be technical, and also the other states will vote on the 3-minute statement of both challenges.
Okay, If nobody else has questions, comments, remarks of any kind,
Sorry, President.
Ambassador Savoia, anything want to say? No. Giovanni.
Well, not really. I'm very happy to see a lot of young ladies and young men to compete. But all of them are very nice. But, you know, it is a competition. Anyway, see you tomorrow morning.
Okay, thanks so much. Thanks so much. And there is hope for the new generation of ambassadors. Is that what you mean? Hopefully they will all get into the profession. Very nice. Right, Giovanni, Jana, what did you want to
Yes,
say?
President. I just want to remember to the delegates that the platform for the negotiation of cards will close tomorrow at 11. So after that time, the platform will be shut down and we will start the counting for picking up the winner.
Okay.
So 11 tomorrow.
After this last remark, we want to say thank you very much for every activity you've done. Thank you very much for being so strong as to stay on the computer for such a long time. We have shown that school can overcome any single problem of this difficult period we're all living. So that will be an example for everybody else.
Madam President,
Big round of applause to all of you.
Madam President, I would like to thank you, and also I would like to say welcome and see you tomorrow to our friends from Saudi Arabia that have been following the debate. And of course, tomorrow we will be pleased if somebody from Saudi Arabia wants to join us and also give some words and some comments on the challenge. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye. See you tomorrow morning. Bye.
Bye
Bye
bye.
everyone. See you tomorrow morning.
Bye.
Stop.
Bye.
Chiudi il
Daniele, sei ancora lì, Daniele? Volevo ringraziare anche te, l'ambasciatore Savoia, per il grande impegno che avete profuso oggi in questa sfida. Poi ci farete anche voi i vostri commenti, perché questo è un gioco, ma